This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. What I'm looking at today is Aftermath, directed by Peter Winther, starring Ashley Greene and Shawn Ashmore. And this is an interesting movie, at least initially. That is, before things get not very interesting. The movie revolves around a couple played by Ashmore and Greene who are in difficulties. He had an affair, which is unusual for these type of movies, by the way. Typically, it's the guy. Though, in this case, she has the affair, and they're trying to keep the relationship going. They go to therapy regularly, and it's an ongoing process. Though the thing of it is, what's kind of interesting is that while she had the affair, he's a bit of a dick. Which is to say, he finds reasons to bring it up that don't necessarily revolve around it at all. And the movie makes pretty clear that she is trying to make things better. Though in any case, Ashmore's character works as a hazardous waste cleaner. I don't know if he owns the company or he just manages a crew. Though he works at one of those hazardous waste disposal companies. And there's a murder-suicide at this house, which the movie opens with. And so he cleans it up. I mean, it's a mess. There's blood on the walls, all sorts of stuff. They clean it up, and based on the recommendation of the therapist that Ashmore and his wife find a new place to start fresh, he manages to purchase the house where the murder happened. As I mentioned earlier, Ashmore comes off like a bit of a dick in this movie, and this is another example of it. This couple, who are related to the people who killed themselves in the house Ashmore cleaned, are in a state of bereavement, and he seems to me to take advantage of that fact and purchase the house relatively cheap, and it's a very nice house. They don't tell you how much he paid, but the impression is given that he paid way less than he should have. And one part of that couple she just wants to be done with it. She doesn't care about the money as much. While the husband acts really weird about it. But in any case, Ashmore and his wife get the house. This is where the movie is most interesting, because you don't know what it is. At this point, it comes off very similar to Scott Derrickson's Sinister, in that, are we witnessing the ghosts of the couple that were killed coming back? Because all sorts of weird occurrences start happening in the house. Is that what's happening? Or are we witnessing a situation more in line with, let's say, The Boy? By which I mean you have an actual individual in the house that they don't know about, causing all sorts of mischief and just being weird. I don't want to give away the answer to that question, though how the movie handles it is somewhat disappointing. In fact, I want to say this movie is about 2 hours. About 48 minutes in is when it gets interesting. But as I said, as events start to unfold, they don't make a lot of sense. It's not a bad movie. It's certainly watchable, but it's disappointing. And I guess because while I mentioned earlier that you don't quite know what type of movie you're getting, which isn't a bad thing, actually, that ambiguousness is interesting. The problems come when it finally settles, because it doesn't really make any sense. And it's a question of, why is this happening? It doesn't make it bad. As I said, Aftermath is quite watchable, but it's not very satisfying. And I wish that tone were carried out through more of the movie, as opposed to waiting almost 50 minutes into it before things start to actually happen. It's well acted, it's for the most part well directed, Its weakness lies in its writing, which is to say, it just doesn't hold together. It just crumbles. So if you haven't seen Aftermath, it's currently on Netflix, watch it for yourself, come to your own opinions. Though for mine, I am not a fan. This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like or a follow.